if you're Aquarius, born January 20th to February 18th, what can you expect for the month of April 2017? Let's tune in and find out. So Aquarians, it feels like you're in a bit of a metamorphosis. There's this opening from your heart. So there may be some things that you've been able to let go of or forgive, or this month move forward with that you haven't previously been able to move forward with. So this could be any sort of projects, whether they're home projects or whether they're relationship issues, or whether they're personal issues or personal goals. It feels like this month is the month that you're able to kind of open up and really give your focus and attention to those things that are your goals and what you really like your life to look like, or the things that you want to progress with. So that's really great. So let's start first with your love life. For those of you that are in a committed romantic relationship, let's look and see what April has in store for you. Oh, there's a really nice synergy of movement together. You know, I help you, you help me, I help you, you help me. So there's this nice back and forth energy of partnership that's happening in your relationship. You're also going to find out where there's some things that you get hooked up on, or where you get caught with each other. And that's going to become evident in the relationship too. But it feels like a small discussion, honesty, conversation. You're able to work it out together. So it doesn't feel like it's anything like really big or really harmful. It's more like it's information, and well, I need to talk to you like this instead of like that, or we need to approach it like this instead of like that. So there's new information, or maybe it's something that you're already aware of, but it comes back up so that you can tackle it together and work it out together. So it's a very sort of harmonious thing. I don't feel it like it's ripping you apart or anything like that. I will say that Venus, that has been retrograde, which is the planet that helps us with our love, is moving forward April 15th. So you're going to have that planet back in action ready to help you out. Now, for those of you that are single and you're interested in romance, let's see what April has in store for you. I feel there's like almost like this little bit of a tension in the back of the neck. It's like when we talk about romance, it's like, oh, do I want to put my neck back out there again? Almost feel like you're sticking your neck out, and it's just a little bit risky, which is kind of unusual, for you Aquarians. So it may not be for all of you, but those of you that have that kind of like, you're going to really feel the relief or the release. The middle and end part of April. Not feeling so much in the beginning. I feel like if you want to force it, or you're dating somebody now, it's kind of like, okay, but I feel like it's really going to open up middle of the month and the end of the month. You may even have somebody from your past come back. And the reason I say that is because Mercury goes retrograde April 9th to May 3rd. And a lot of times that will pull people back into our life, right? And it will help us to kind of revisit issues. And that Mercury retrograde, it's not going to feel as intense. I personally feel it's not going to feel as intense. And the reason for that is Saturn is also retrograde from April 6th to August 26th. And Saturn's the planet that helps us review our relationships. It helps us kind of focus on what we want for our life. It has us look at the way we problem solve, or the way in which we materialize our physical world. Do I want to still manifest like this? Is this the job I want to have? Is this how I want to present myself to the world? So it's almost like a time out, where normally Saturn is that taskmaster, do it, get it done. And because it's kind of stepping back, taking a break, we're not going to feel that pressure. And so with the Mercury retrograde, with the opportunity to redo and revisit and reclaim, or kind of re-choose things, it doesn't feel as harsh. And so for starting new relationships with Venus moving forward, it just feels like it's easier. Now, remember, with Mercury retrograde, problems with communications, problems with electronics, it's not recommended that you sign contracts. But life has to go on. So if you do have to sign contracts, make sure you double and triple check things. Otherwise, May 3rd is when Mercury goes direct, and so you always want to give it a couple of more days just to make sure everything's smooth. So safely moving forward that first week of May. Now, here's the other thing about the retrograde. When that communication starts to move forward, if you're dating somebody new in the last week of April, those last couple of weeks of April, you may find that you see something else about them, or you may discover something about them that you weren't aware of. And there's a new moon in Taurus, April 26th, and that might call in, new love relationships. It might call in new relationships in general. And then you'll be able to see, by middle of May, really kind of like who they are. You're going to have a fuller picture of what you're getting yourself into, or what kind of integrity they have, or what their personal relationships are, how they operate in relationships. And then, of course, because we have Saturn retrograde, it's giving us a chance to choose. Do I want to be in a relationship like this? Do I want to be in a work relationship like this? Or do I want to date somebody from work, right? So it's all these different opportunities for us to choose relationships differently. So this is for all the signs. We're all going to be kind of re-looking and re-choosing relationships in our life all summer long. And it's in a good way. It's not a harsh way. It feels like there's opening and opportunity with it. And with Mercury going direct, then the communication will be there to support us so that we are able to articulate what we want to say. Okay, so let's move forward and let's look at career and money for Aquarians, what might be in store for you in April. So career feels like it's moving forward. It feels like it's trending in a direction that you want it to, that feels good for you. It feels like any little obstacles that are there, you see them, they're not going to block you. You might get over them, you might get tripped up, but you're not going to stop you. So that's really good. And you're going to be able to have more time, it feels like, to be able to get things done that you want to get done. And I think that's how we started the opening, was just that you're going to have more time to be able to really focus on the things that are important to you. And for some of you, it may have a lot to do with your homes or with your houses, redecorating and getting ready to put it up for sale or into market, which, by the way, is a great time to sell things. When Mercury retrograde is in force, that April 9th to May 3rd, it's always a wonderful time to sell things because people aren't seeing everything. They're seeing what they want to see, right? So it's a great time to sell, not a great time to buy. So if you're looking or shopping for a house, or you just want to kind of be more of a browser at that time. Now, if you may also feel the need to redecorate and move things around, that's fine. Just make sure that if you've hired somebody to do this work with you, that you make sure that you've done your background checks, you've done everything that you need to do. Make sure that they are reputable and credible if it's during that retrograde period when you do hire them. Otherwise, I'd say that get them hired now, and it's fine for them to go to work during that period. You just want to pay attention to what's going on, right? Okay, so now let's look at the money in your career. Oh, by the way, if you're interested and you need a job, or you need to push something forward, it's a great time in April to be able to go back and get other people's help. So people that you used to work with, old corporations, or people that you've rubbed shoulders with, you may find yourself going back to groups that you were once affiliated with. Let's say if you're somebody who is a recovering alcoholic, or drug abuse, or a gambler, you may find yourself going back to some things to get your health in order, to get yourself back in shape. You may find yourself rejoining a gym. So anyway, there's a lot of that going on. And specifically to your career, there are some partnerships available to you from the past that could come in to help forward things. Okay, so let's look at your money for April. So money feels good. It feels like there's, if you're looking for a loan, or if you're looking for some additional money, it might take a little more elbow grease on your end, a little more effort on your end to get it done. But I do think it can happen, and I do think it's something that the money is there if you need it for school, or you need it for education, or you need it to buy a house, or fix a roof or whatever. With that retrograde, you may also have, plumbing issues could come up for some of you. Some of your appliances could go on the fritz, and, all of a sudden your refrigerator's dead. So, there would be money for that, right? Okay, so anything else about money? Keep your investments where they are. Wouldn't really advise adding to it or taking it away during this time, because with the Venus retrograde, it's not really there to support you with your love of money, right? So, and that goes direct on the 15th, but now we've got the retrograde from April 9th to May 3rd. So, there's communication issues. So it may not, what you think you're buying, you may not be buying. So I would wait until middle of May to make any adjustments to your portfolios or to add any investments. And, it's a nice time to be able to inquire about it, read about it, things like that. Certainly doesn't hurt. Okay, so let's look at your health. Now, we touched on a little bit that some of you will be going back to trainers that you've worked with before, therapists that you've connected with before, nutritionists that you've worked with before. There's this redoing and revamping. And part of that is just, spring, or we're wanting to get ready for spring. I know all those of you in Australia and other places, maybe you're not, you're getting ready for more of winter, right? So there's this movement in the other direction. But nonetheless, you want to stay in shape. So there's this movement where the tide is turning inside of us to be able to do more, feel better about ourselves. And we've got a lot of support from the universe to do that. So I see you guys really re-looking and revisiting things that have worked for you in the past. With that blossoming or the metamorphosis that's happening for you, you may also discover some new things that you weren't aware of or you hadn't heard of before, especially in the first week or two of April. I see some things possibly coming in, and you just want to kind of, explore them a little bit. Once Venus goes direct on April 15th, the latter part of April, you could decide to go, okay, that's really what I want to do. I'm going to give it a try and start to fill in the blanks. So those are some things that with your health are good. For those of you that have, I'm getting like back pain and spasm pains and things like that, I feel like there's your stress levels with Saturn going backwards. It feels like your stress is going to be decreased, so I can have a little more time to do what I need to do. I feel like you're a little more relaxed, so you can take the time to go get the proper acupuncture or chiropractic or yoga class or Pilates or whatever it is that you needed to do. Even if you have to have surgery, it feels like you want to, if you have to have surgery, you have to have surgery. So the best time to do that would feels more like in the first or second week. If you could put it off till middle of May, absolutely I would. But if you can't, don't, then just double check your doctors and double check the times. This is also a time with travel and with communication. Things can go a little crazy, so you always want to leave extra time. If you're flying someplace or if you're driving someplace, leave some extra time for you, because our communication can get screwed up around our travel. Okay, so let's see what else is for you, unexpected for you Aquarians for the month of April. There's going to be a really nice symbiotic sort of energy that happens with friends, like running into friends or hearing from old friends and then being able to have like, wow, isn't this amazing? This worked out. We're all here at the same time, right? So there's this reconnecting with really good friends, and it feels like it's just like perfect timing, unexpected. So it feels like there's some really unexpected fun and pleasure with people that are close to you. It could even be family, but there's this real nice, unexpected time that you're going to be able to have in the month of April, reconnecting with people that you haven't seen for a while, because we have these two big, this big spiritual awakenings that are happening, windows in time with, we have both Passover and with Easter. That long week right there where all the energy is coming in and allows you to be able to really reconnect with your spiritual heart and be able to connect with people that you love. So I feel like all in all, it's a really kind of like heart-opening month and a really idyllic month for connecting with friends and just having life be a little calmer and smoother. And especially the last 2 weeks of April feel really like, I needed this, right? And some of you may even be going on vacation and have impromptu trips. So it feels like a really wonderful time. So Aquarians, I wish you a wonderful April. If you've liked my intuitive astrology, please click like, share it with your friends. I love it if you'd comment below, and I look forward to connect with you again next month.